On this week's show, how to do Buy Refurbish Refinance up north when you live down south.
Home buyers get to see property's darker side on Google Street View.
And we're going to be answering all your property-related questions. Welcome to the Property Investors Podcast. Thanks so much for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss an upload. You can catch us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Enjoy this week's show and don't forget to share it with all your friends. Hey, I'm Russell Leeds.
Hey, I'm not Alistair Cunningham.
You're not, are you?
I'm not Alistair Cunningham.
We've got an upgrade this week. This week we have the one and only, normally, Quizmaster, which means we've got no quiz today. I rang Alistair. I said, Alistair, could you do the quiz? Could you put some questions together? We'll zoom you in, and you can be the quizmaster. And he was like, yeah, sure, I'll do that. So I rang him today and was like, great, we're going to go in a minute. Are you ready? He's like, just do it without me. So unfortunately, this week we have no quiz. We have no quizmaster. Alistair couldn't be called a quizmaster anyway.
I think he should be fired from doing this for that.
Do you think we should replace Alistair with Ricky Mandel? Well, let people say if you think we should replace. What? It could be me.
Hold on, more to the point, where is Alistair?
There's a rumour going. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. I'm not saying it's true, but there is a rumour going around that he didn't want to be on film today, which is maybe why he didn't want to get zoomed in.
Right.
He didn't want to be on film today because he's had his hair transplant.
No
way. I don't know if it's true, but right now he is completely bald. While he's waiting to get the next steps. So someone said it would be good if he did. They described his haircut as a bird's nest.
I'm gonna have to go through this whole episode now with the thought of bald Alistair.
Bald Alistair or bird nest. Well, you're used to that one though, aren't you? You've seen that one before. That one's the normal one.
Bird nest owl.
Bird nest.
Oh man.
We should just call him like BN.
We should just call Birdie. Birdie. When we see him next week, all right, Birdie.
Oh, you call like a bird, but we know the real reason. No, I don't think that's true about Alistair's hair. But let's start the rumour anyway.
Yeah, we'll start the rumour.
I told everyone on Instagram Live it was true. So there's a load of people that believe it anyway.
I actually think I spoke to someone earlier after you'd done the live, and they said that they messaged him saying good luck and stuff, and I thought, what's happened?
Oh, it's the ultimate practical joke. But yeah, so we have Ricky Mandel this week. So if you like Ricky, let us know in the chat that he did a great job.
Many people are going to be hitting that comment box now.
Oh, they're going to be. Ricky is amazing. We love Ricky.
I love the way you said we had an upgrade this week. Not a downgrade or a replace.
Slightly thicker hair.
Yeah, well, better than Alistair's. I hope.
Alistair. So this week we put it out to Instagram Live, and Instagram Live told us they wanted to know. In fact, a few people someone messaged people said, talk about that. Was can you do BRR up north if you live down south, or I suppose can you do BRR down south if you live up north or on the east? Or basically, I suppose that the real question, Rick, is can you do BRR in an area that you don't live?
Yeah.
If you're going to give a yes or no answer to that, can you do it? Yes or no?
Yes.
Would you recommend it? Yes or no?
Yes.
You would recommend it.
I would. No, well, that's not a straightforward answer there. So I'm going to say yes. I think once you've got experience in doing refurbs and you understand how it works, I think if you we'll get into how you do it, but I think you need to get the experience first. And if you're starting out, I think it's important to see and be there while it's being done to an extent so you can learn and know the process. Ready for when you systemize things.
Okay. So if you're going to talk us through the process then of what a BRR is, go ahead and describe it so the viewers get a feel for what a BRR actually is.
A BRRR is a house or a property that needs value added.
It's not when you're cold, is it?
No, do you know? So, no, it could be, but in this situation,
it's both.
No. It's both. It's when
especially up north.
It's when you stand in a house that needs value adding to it, and it's cold, and you go, and it's so. Look, a BRRR is a property that is a problem property that needs some sort of uplift or value adding to it to bring it back to its true market value, and it's a great way to create wealth.
Yeah. So in essence, you find a house that's horrible.
Yep.
Also, normally it's a house with problems as well, isn't it? So you find a house that's normally got some problems, and for whatever reason, let's say every single house on the street is worth £100,000, for argument's sake.
Yeah.
But because this one is horrible and disgusting, and no one was going to buy it for £100,000, so they sell it for, say, £50,000.
Yeah.
But you know that with £20,000 spending on it, it would be worth the same as all the others in the street.
Yeah.
So you buy it for 50, you spend 20 doing it up, making it nice. You then get a valuer to come round and you say, hello, Mr. Valuer, how much is my house worth? And they say, it's now worth 100.
Yeah.
And you go, brilliant, I'll get a mortgage on it for 100, which basically means you can pull out all the money that you originally put in because the mortgage will give you the money back. And now you've got a mortgage on it and a free house.
Yeah.
Or it might be, depending on the figures, that it's not a free house, it's just a house where you've left in £5,000 or £10,000 or whatever. So
Which will give you a good return.
Yeah. So I suppose step one is you look for horrible properties.
We call them problem properties. Properties with problems, properties that need value adding to them, properties that need uplift. More times than not, for straightforward buy refurbs, it's just going to be, when you look on Rightmove, you see properties that need updated carpets, they need painting, decorating, new kitchen, bathrooms. They're the sort of properties that you want to be looking for your straightforward buy refurb refinance.
I always look when I'm looking on Rightmove for ones that say cash only.
Yeah.
Tell them why.
Well, cash only means that it's probably because it's unmortgageable, okay, which means that it restricts and limits the amount of people that are going to be able to buy it, because a lot of people aren't going to buy a house just with cash, because a lot of people probably don't have 100,000, 200,000 just sat in the bank. So it limits the amount of people that can buy, which means there's more room for negotiation, because obviously they're trying to sell it, and if there's not much demand because it's cash only, it gives you negotiation power to say, look, I'm a cash buyer, we can move on it quick because it's a cash purchase. So then you've got room for negotiations.
I don't know the percentages. Perhaps it's the sort of thing that you'd probably ask in the quiz.
Yeah.
But what do you think the percentages of people are actively looking for a house that are cash buyers? I imagine it's quite low. Most people buy with a mortgage, don't they?
Yeah, it's only going to be really investors that are going to be buying with cash. Percentage wise, I have no idea, but I'm gonna hazard a guess. I reckon it's probably going to be like maybe 5%. About 5% or something that are going to be cash buyers. But
hold on. What percent do you reckon?
5%.
That's what he does on the quiz every time. Whenever myself or Alistair give an answer, he just pisses himself laughing. It makes you feel so stupid. But
we're gonna give the answer, and it's gonna be like
5%. It will be bang on 4.9 or something. But yeah, no. So obviously, you limit most of the market.
Yeah.
So it means for starters, it's very difficult for them to sell.
Yeah.
Because the majority, 95%, according to Ricky, it's a proven fact, 95%, 95% of buyers aren't going to be interested in that property.
Yeah.
So suddenly you've got... But then the people that are cash buyers, some of those might be cash buyers because they just don't want to... They're older, they don't want a mortgage. And they're not going to be interested either.
No,
because it's a crappy
they've got to do the
property
work
that can't have a mortgage, yeah? So you're literally ruling out most of the market, first of all. And you might think, but I don't want a property. I want to use a mortgage. I'm not a cash buyer. But if you're going to do buy, refurbish, refinance... You're not supposed to use them. You can't use a mortgage anyway.
No,
because the whole purpose is that you buy it for cash, and then you get a mortgage after the work's been done, after the value's been lifted. Because most mortgages, you can't remortgage for 2 years, or you maybe can after 6 months, but there'll be penalties and things involved. So typically, you have to buy with cash or bridging finance.
Yeah,
and bridging finance, in essence, makes you a cash buyer, even though you're not. Because they're putting the bridging in. But you'll still probably need, it very much depends on the deal, but typically you'll need sort of 65% to put down. So let's say if the property was worth, it wouldn't really work on the 40 grand deal, but let's say the property was 200 grand and they were selling it for it should be worth 200 grand, they're selling it for 120 because it's horrible, you would need to put in like 35-40% of that 120. So you will need a bit of cash.
Yeah.
It's not a strategy for people. It's not like a no money down strategy.
No, and most bridging companies as well, they retain the interest. They take it off the figure that they give you. So you have to... I think when it comes to bridging finance and stuff like that, you have to know what you're doing. You have to get the education on it. Learn about it, because it can be risky if you just jump straight into it. The other thing is with cash purchases is sometimes cash buy. If it's a cash purchase only, it may be because it isn't mortgageable. Not just because they look for a quick sale. It may be because, for example, it's non-standard construction, which is why a lot of lenders won't lend on it, mortgage lenders. So there's always sometimes a reason why it's going to be a cash buy.
You need to find out why and see if it's something that you're able to solve.
Yeah, like Alistair's Bedford house, that was unmortgageable, so it had to be a cash purchase. But the reason being is because it was uninhabitable because it had no kitchen.
Yeah.
That's why his was a cash purchase, cash buy only.
So he's thinking, can I add a kitchen?
And then it's mortgageable.
It's not something ridiculously creative, like there's a tree in the back. If there was something like that, it would just be no questions asked.
Yeah.
I'm not buying a house.
I think non-standard construction as well. I know a lot of investors that don't really do buy refurb with non-standard construction because it limits your exit. Because when you exit from it, you can't. Because it's still going to be
non-standard construction.
Yes, so you're not going to change the construction unless you demolish it. But because it's still non-standard construction, you then limit how many people you could sell it to if you're going to flip it. And you limit your refinancing options.
Well, in that case, it wouldn't work because it's not something you can fix.
No,
it might be structural. It might be a structural issue. You can't get a mortgage because there's a structural issue. But if you know that you can fix that, it's all about finding the. It's a bit like being an entrepreneur, isn't it?
Yeah.
You find the problem. Are you able to fix the problem?
Yeah.
If you are able to fix the problem, great. You're going to make money on it.
Yeah.
If you're not able to fix the problem, then you just bought a crap house.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that
you're kind of screwed.
It would be kind of terrible. So now that people, hopefully most people will have a rough idea of how BRRR works.
Yeah.
You live in
near Milton Keynes.
Near Milton Keynes. Would you then? You've said yes already, so I know the answer. Say do a Buy Refurbish Refinance in Newcastle, and if you were to do one, which you've already said you would, so let's just assume you would.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to do one in Newcastle, what sort of steps would you go about, or what sort of steps would you recommend someone doing for the distance? I mean, in some ways, I suppose it's kind of the same, right? Because are you Ricky Mandel? Oh, by the way, your name, Ricky Mandel. Have you heard how Siri says your name?
No.
Do I want to hear it? Normally, I just obviously dial the phone, but because I was driving, I was like, "Hey Siri, call." In fact, I'll do it now.
Oh no!
I'll do it now so you can hear it. It kind of goes. It says Richie. It calls you first of all.
Yeah.
It's spelled. His name is Ricci. It's like Richie Mendel. I'll try a little watch. Here we go. Hey Siri, call Ricky Mandel.
Calling Richie Mundell, mobile.
Richie Mundell. So from now on, I'm going to call you Richie Mundell. So we've got Richie Mundell on the show this week.
I'm here.
So if you, Richie Mundell, were going to buy this house in Newcastle, you're not physically going to be the person who fixes the structural problems or builds the kitchen in or decorates and etc. So does it matter if you're there or not? What's your role in the project?
Yeah, so my role would be to look over my project manager. So there'd just be one point of contact, the project manager. They contact me for any...
So would you not find the house?
Oh, you want them back from the very beginning?
Your role, man. What's your role in the project?
Right, yeah. So find the house, do the due diligence, view the house.
What does that mean?
Okay, so find the house, do research on the area. Okay, what refurb is going to be required? Get builders quotes. How much is it going to cost? What's it going to refinance at? What's going to be the end value? If I wanted to flip it as an exit, is there a demand for sales? Are people looking to buy in that area? And if they are, what sort of prices are they paying? So that's going to be, in a nutshell, the due diligence I'm doing. It's just like on a normal house, but you have to factor in your exits with Buy Refurbish Refinance.
It's important that you've got what we call it, finding your patch. Yeah. Right? So it's important that you've got local knowledge of the area. Yeah. So you're not just willy-nilly. A deal source contacted me and said, I want to sell your property in Middlesbrough. And you're like, great, I'll just buy it without knowing the area, etc.
Look, because you've got to think, right? If you take on a property in Middlesbrough, right, but it's nowhere near the town centre, there's no demand for rent or for anyone to buy, and it's in the middle of nowhere. Once you've finished it, what happens when you refinance and then you can't rent it? It's a bit of a waste of a property because it's not being rented. If you want to sell it and you can't sell it and you've got bridging on it, you're then paying interest on bridging, it can't sell, then you're stuck. So it's so important you do the due diligence on your patch.
So you do your due diligence on your area, you find out what the area's like, how much they rent for, what houses are worth, all that sort of stuff. You're then going to go on some viewings at some horrible houses. Mm-hmm. You say find one, and you need to know at this point now 3 figures, right? And all this really is on you. You can outsource, you can get deal sources, etc. to do it, but I always think it's better if it's key that you know how to do it first. Because if you trust other people to do it and they give you the wrong figures, I've had it all the time with some of the development stuff, and people will come present figures to me, and I'll look at it and I'll think that's not true. Now, if I didn't know how to work it out,
you're probably like, oh great, looks good.
Looks a brilliant deal on paper, and you'd buy it, right? So it's important that you know the figures. So you're gonna need to know. Basically, it comes down to 3 figures. Number one, what are you paying for the house?
Yep.
That's the easiest one.
Yeah.
It's pretty easy to know that figure.
You've got to know. Well, how could you not know the figure?
Well, the only way you could not know is it could be up for 80, for example, and you could not know. You'd have to negotiate, so you wouldn't know to begin with. Yeah, but you know what you're going to pay for the house. You need to know, secondly, what the refurb cost is. Mm-hmm. Now, is this something you do yourself, or do you get a builder or someone to look over it as well?
I do it myself now, but when I started, I used to go around with a builder and get builders' quotes. If I'm selling a deal, I will include builders' quotes. If I'm doing it for myself, I'm looking for myself, then I look around, price up in my head first, because from experience and from the knowledge, I understand what things are going to cost. And then when I put in my offer, once it gets accepted, then I have the builder go around and look at it.
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. From experience doing it a few times, you get to know roughly what's to... And you can often you can just sort of feel... You look around the house and you think, this is going to be a 20 grand refurb.
Yeah.
You might have to pay them something, or... If you're giving them lots of work, they'll then start doing it for free.
Yeah.
But yeah, get builders to look around, get a quote. So you know your second figure, how much it's going to cost to do. By the way, a lot of people underestimate this figure.
Oh yeah, definitely, 100%. We always add on 10% for contingencies.
There you go, top tip from Rick there. Rick, top tip. Add on.
Add on 10%.
Add on 10%. Then, so that's your second figure, and your third figure is what's it going to be worth at the end, right? So that, again, you're going to just do a bit of due diligence. Mm-hmm. Could be speaking to estate agents, or probably the best way is to look at comparable properties and just see, get a fit. What's that one sold for? And when I say comparable properties, I don't mean up for sale. You want to look at the sold prices. So you can go on Rightmove, look at sold prices, look very close and look very recent. So I tend to look within a quarter of a mile in the last 2 years. Now, sometimes, if it's an area where there's lots of countryside around, you might have to widen that out. But it's amazing, isn't it? Because if you know the area, there's another good reason to know the area. I was looking at one in Bloxwich, and I know Bloxwich really well. I used to live there. And it was a site. And we were looking within a quarter of a mile. But literally, there was a road. And this side of the road, the house prices, an average house price might be like 120.
Yeah.
And this side, it might be like 160.
Yeah.
Because it was they'd built a new estate on this side. And they were similar sizes. On paper, you'd look at it and you'd go, that's a comparable.
Yeah.
It's less than a quarter of a mile away. But when you know the area, and if Middlesbrough, for example, is your patch, and you'd look at that and go, hold on a second. That one's on the Mossley, as it was. That one's on the Turnberry. They are very, very different estates, separated by one road.
Yeah, well, it's the first thing, you think deal find extravaganza. What's the first thing we do? We make sure that we go through our patch, and that's the first step, is knowing the patch. You have to know it, otherwise stuff like that could happen, and you could be stuck.
Yeah. So if you see one that's like, when you're doing your comparables, I always go for like between 7 and 10.
Yeah.
And if you see one that's like, that one's a lot more expensive than those, it's worth having a drive around, which is another good reason why it's not ideal not to be too far away, because if it is, it's not a problem, but you are going to have to go to that area, probably.
Well, I just think if you're going to pick your patch anyway, you should spend time there before you start looking anyway.
Yeah, but if you're looking at a particular property and you might not know every street in Middlesbrough.
No.
But if you drive by and have a look, you go, okay, I can see why that one's more expensive.
Yeah.
But it's not something you can just do on a computer. I think.
Well, wait till we get to the news.
Well, yeah, but I do think it is worth going around the area as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is why some people say, how can you do it far away? You do have to travel to the area.
You do, of course.
You're going to have to travel there where you do your viewings. You're going to have to travel there when you're doing your comparables and stuff. You do have to. Today I've been on like a 6-hour round trip to go. Tomorrow I'm doing a 2-hour round trip to go, because I am looking at areas not close to home. It's doable.
I think it's important to know that when we talk about, can you do it nowhere near where you live, you can, but that's not to say you don't have to go there and have a look and travel, because you do. But it just means that you can do it somewhere that's not where you live and not be there every single day. But you still have to go and do your research and research the patch, of course.
However, when I look in the Midlands, particularly around Walsall, Wolverhampton, because I know it so well, I don't go.
Yeah.
Well,
it's because you know the patch so well.
I know the patch. So you don't have to go forever.
Yeah.
When you're having to go is when it's an area that you don't know.
Yeah.
So if you come from Middlesbrough and you've moved down, I don't think it's so important that you have to. I don't think you have to go as long as you know the area.
Well, that's why you need to go to know the area. If you know it,
Obviously, to view your properties.
yeah.
But so you might have to go once or something. But yeah, so they're the three figures. So as long as you know that, you can manage. Like I'm managing properties right now that I don't go to.
Yeah.
I've got one in Liverpool that I'm managing right now that I've only been to once. So you can PM them, as a BRR.
Yeah.
You can PM them from afar, but you're going to have to go occasionally.
Yeah, you want to go, I'd typically go maybe once every 3 weeks or once a month and just check in and make sure, that what's said is being done is being done. Just keep on top of things.
The other thing, though, is, again, about relationships, people. Right, so this one that we were looking at, it's going to be a HMO once it's done. And we went to speak to some HMO managers, found one. And they were like, hey, we live like literally, our office is literally like 2 minutes away from your HMO. If you want us to pop in once a week, take some photos, send them over to you, because they know we're going to use them.
Yeah.
Very happy to do that. So now we've got someone who lives there who's going in doing progress reports for us for free. Just from building a relationship.
And you don't even have to go.
Don't even have to go.
You probably go at the end though when it's finished.
Of course, yeah.
You were about to say, no, we'll just get...
I was going to say no, but we're on camera. I'll say it at the end. No, I will go. I will. So yeah. So you can manage them from afar, but just be prepared. You are going to have to drive back and forth a bit. And particularly if you're starting in a new area, you'll have to drive quite a lot.
I think it's a given though. Like, what look.
You picked a patch close to home, didn't you?
To begin with, service accommodation, it was Milton Keynes.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been looking in Stoke.
And how often do you go to Stoke?
Maybe once every 2 weeks. And that's about 2-hour drive.
What are you looking for in Stoke?
Buy Refurbish Refinances.
How are you going to rent them out at the end?
No, they're just going to be single lets.
Single lets, good.
But my first exit on what I want to do is a flip. So I'm actually not looking to refinance as the first exit. I'm looking to flip as my first exit.
I was going to say HMOs. Oh, I had a bit of a nightmare of HMOs in Stoke. I wasn't a big fan. Wow, just that, because we did Stoke and we also did Birmingham, Wolverhampton, and the one area, partly because it was about 45 minutes away, which didn't help. But the one area that I had that was just was Stoke. All the ones in Stoke were properties. Do you know the ones I mean?
Yeah.
Like when Homer struggles by.
I mean, mate, do you guys know about them properties? You just walk in, you just go.
Yeah, they're the one. I hear Rick doing. I heard him in the toilet earlier doing that. I don't know what he was doing, but I think he must have been thinking about a bad property or something. But
oh, guys, you see what I have to put up with. But no, I know them properties where it's like, I know them properties. Oh gosh,
flashing red.
Yeah, it means it's still recording.
Oh, does it? I thought you said when it flashes red, it means it's cut.
No, it means when it stops flashing red, it means it's cut.
Ah.
So we're still going.
I'm still going. Okay, cool.
What did you think? See, look, that's what's happened, you see. Because he thought the camera had stopped rolling, that's when he started bringing out the...
No, it's not. I just noticed. Then. So yeah, I kind of think that hopefully, I mean, can't remember, who was it who asked the question about BRRR? I can't remember who it was, but hopefully that kind of answers your question. Yeah. Very doable, very possible. We're both doing it. You're looking in Stoke. To be fair, I'm looking all over, really.
But it means you just got to go there. I think too many people think they can sit behind their laptop and make it work. If you want to make money in any business, that's not the case. You have to be able to travel at some point to look at things, review things, and, so it's not a case of you don't have to go there at all.
I totally agree with that. I mean, people think property as passive income, and it is a passive income. But it's not passive the whole time. To begin with, you've got to put the work in to get the properties and to...
Think of a traditional business owner. If you own a business or own a company, you still go to the offices, even if it's like once a month for a meeting or to check in. They still go to their office, and it's the same with property. You still go to your patch to look for houses and stuff. It's just you can systemize it a lot better when you have systems in place, but you still have to, get out there and do it.
Still got to put the work in.
Yeah.
Still a lot of work. BRRR.
Well, yeah, it is a lot of work, but you can, do it so that you put in the work to begin with, and then you systemize things after. Yeah. Project managers.
I very much agree. And then obviously you're building your portfolio, which will be a nice steady stream of income, which is pretty passive. Yeah. Right. So it's a building thing. It's a building thing. Of course it is. So hopefully you guys found that helpful. Right. It is now time for this. So it's now time for the news, and this was an article that caught my eye. I just thought it was quite amusing, really, and potentially a nice little hack of doing a little bit of DD of a house.
Yeah.
Maybe not. It is only a moment in time, but here's the story. This is in the Times. House buyers get to see property's darker side on Google Street View. So house hunters hoping to find their dream home discovered an unwelcome feature when they looked up a West Sussex property on Google Street View. The semi-detached house in Haywards Heath, which is listed on Rightmove for £375,000, features 3 double bedrooms, a south-facing garden and a drive big enough for 2 cars. And according to Google Services, 2 armed police officers posted outside. The images could have been worse. The pictures were taken shortly after a crash between 2 vans on the lane, which led to a mass brawl at the scenes. From both vehicles began and to break out into a fight. One person already had a broken arm, and the aftermath of the melee was caught on Google Street View. So
The chances of that.
I know. Do you know? I have seen some funny things on. I've been looking on Google Street View,
Yeah.
you know, at plots of land and things, and seeing more people now with masks on as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I saw one of a guy sort of going like, you know, that I'm not very hip, but you know, the kind of the gangster sort of this sort of thing. He was literally doing that mid doing it as the Google
Look, you're a cool guy, man.
I'm
Don't
a
put
cool
yourself
guy.
down.
I won't.
You're a cool guy.
I'm just used to Alistair putting me down. Thank you.
It's alright. Alistair,
I am cool.
I'm here now.
Thanks, bro.
It's not Alistair
Thank
anymore. You're a cool guy. Don't ever put yourself down like that.
My emotions are coming out of me
Yeah.
right now. But yeah, he was sort of going like this on camera, which I thought was quite funny. But what are the funniest things you have seen on Google Street View? And if you have managed to take a photograph or a screenshot of it, please do send them in.
I just don't get what. Hold on a minute. But how do you find funny stuff on Street View?
Just when you're you're not looking for funny stuff.
I know that.
You're not like, right, I'm gonna have a good giggle. Let's get on Google Street View. Oh, look at that house.
But I look on Street View quite a lot of houses to see the streets. But I'm only looking at the houses. I don't really come across anything funny. I can only think.
But don't you go in the road? You put yourself in the road
Yeah.
and you look up and down the street to see what the area's like, right?
Yeah. But I've just never come across anything funny because I spent the time just. I bet you probably sit there going, right, next road.
No, I don't look at the next road, but I am on Google Street View every day.
Yeah.
So I do. I mean, I didn't see this one though. This made the news. It was that funny.
Well, I've never seen anything funny.
I wouldn't think if I had seen something like that though. I have seen police officers and stuff before. I didn't send it into the Times. I don't think it's newsworthy, our news story this week.
I think
it's funny, but it's not.
It is funny, but I think, like the productive side of it, I think if you're not using Street View, I think you should, because also Street View helps me with looking at what properties I'm looking at have got extensions. You know, down the road, what properties have got extensions.
It does give you a good vibe of the area as well. Like, we were talking about having to go to the area. It actually fits really nicely with our topic.
Yeah.
But, having to go to the area. It's the best way of going to an area without going to an area.
Yeah.
Because it does give you a good feel for what it's like. And also, I mentioned those 2 estates. When you're looking at the 2 estates, you can tell the difference between the 2. So you can go around on Google Street View, look at the areas. Okay, they do look nice. They've got bigger gardens. They've got whatever it is. Even though it's the same size house, they look better kept, etc.
Yeah.
There's not rubbish in the street. So it does give you a good idea of the area. There's one in Liverpool I was looking at where there was police running down the street.
Why have I never seen this stuff?
You obviously aren't looking at Street View.
I do, but I do. But maybe I'll come across one, and when I do, I'll let you know.
Well, I'm sure you will.
But it's a good story. I think
it's
it's a good
story.
story.
It's good.
Would it put you off buying your dream home?
It would.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it sounds to me.
Because it's just bad timing, though, isn't it?
May potentially, which is why I would then go and look. But it's a bad sign, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like if you go into your office out the blue, unannounced, and your staff are dicking about.
Yeah.
It could be bad timing. You don't expect people to work the whole time.
Yeah.
But it's not a good look.
No.
And I'd say the same.
I agree with that.
It's a snapshot. You can't judge it, but it's not a good look that there's police officers there.
No, it's not.
It could be that they were armed police officers because someone got reported for breaking COVID guidelines.
Could be.
Do you know what I mean?
Or it could be there's a celebrity in town, and they've got They're security and armed forces.
Or it could be they got a fancy dress party going on, and they're actually just fancy dressed as police officers going into the house.
Could be Alistair Cunningham's going for a day out and he's being escorted.
It could be Alistair's house, and he's hired 2 men to go over dressed as police officers. It could be anything. It could be anything. We don't know what
We don't know what it is.
but it's not a good look.
No, it's not a good look.
Right, it's now time for this. Okay, so it's now time for the part of the show where you ask questions and myself and Ricky do our best to answer them. If you want to get your questions answered, please do go and join our Facebook group. We normally do a Facebook Live in there. It's Property Investors with Samuel Leeds. There's about 30,000 active property investors in that group, so please do come and join us. Right.
All right, first question.
Go for it, man. Go for it.
I'm waiting for an Alistair joke. First question. Maybe we should stop about Alistair. Or should we carry on?
Carry on.
All right, we'll carry on.
Well, only if it's funny and appropriate.
Okay, well, the first question. Where is Alistair?
He's getting a hair transplant.
Right,
No,
question.
in all seriousness, he, because I do feel a bit bad. Alistair.
Do you?
He's having a boob job. Breast reduction.
Oh my god.
No, he's viewing houses. He's looking for BRRR deals in his patch. Where is he?
I think he's in Liverpool,
There you
Hull
go.
or something.
There you go. He's gone up north. He's doing BRR up north, and he lives down south.
Oh,
he's doing
man.
exactly what this show is all about. Other than we're here joking about it, he's out there doing it.
I thought he was going abroad to get the hair transplant. He must be in Liverpool.
Turkey.
Right, first question is from Luke. And Luke asks, what's the best way to market on social media?
Or what are you trying to market?
I'm assuming, that's what the question is. So I'm assuming it's marketing for probably investors for deal sourcing. So if it's for investors, I would look to give value. You know, you want to be documenting as well. Document, your viewings.
Just be present and just be around in the group. And if you're a good deal seller, that means you've got good property knowledge.
Yeah.
So like you say, share your property knowledge. Join Facebook groups like Property Investors with Samuel Leeds. There are other ones that aren't as good as well, and then just comment and contribute, and people will get to know you.
Yeah,
right?
engagement. And then make sure when people go onto your profiles, they know exactly what you do.
Yeah, agreed.
Next question from Jade. How do I turn a 3-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom HMO? What do I need to look out for?
Well, a 3-bedroom house to a 4-bedroom HMO, typically, I mean, listen, it depends on the house. You might not be able to. But typically, if it's got 2 reception rooms, you could turn one of those into a bedroom by adding a fire door and putting a bed in it. Mm-hmm. So that's one way. I mean, haven't you done one recently? Didn't you add a wall up?
Yeah, so we sold one where the when you go into the hallway, into the dining room and the living room was like one room, but it had a wall in between it. But you know where there's a gap in the wall, so it's like a walk-through dining area. And then we just covered the gap with a stud wall, and then put a door. Put a bed in it. So then they go to get into that bedroom. You just go into the dining room, and the door to the bedroom is there.
You can add stud walls if you've got large rooms. You can turn existing rooms that aren't bedrooms into bedrooms.
Yep.
You can add stud walls. You can do all sorts of things like that.
Yeah.
So that's typically the best way. I mean, you can even, if you've got a 2-bed house with 2 reception rooms, you can even turn that into a 4-bed by turning both in. Because you don't need communal space if the bedrooms are 100 square foot or bigger.
Yeah.
So it really does depend. You have to have a look at the plan and have a little jig around and see what you can do.
Yep. Last question is from Tom. How do I get started in deal sourcing?
I would recommend jumping on the Property Investors Crash Course. It talks about deal sourcing for a couple of hours. Alistair's on there, Samuel's on there, Ricky's going to be there. It's free. The next one is on the 7th of April, which is a week today. Is that right?
It's on a Wednesday, I think.
Yeah. It's Wednesday
Is it a
today,
week
right? 31st.
Yeah, I think it is a week today. No, tomorrow. It's Tuesday today.
Yeah, but they're watching this today, right?
Yeah.
We're filming it the night before, but they don't know that. They do now. Cat's out of the bag. Not used to this. Not Alistair would have said that.
Yeah, a week today. It's a week today.
Yeah. So you can come along. Oh, did I say it's the 31st?
Yes, you're wrong.
I am wrong. There's not 34
I know what,
days.
we're both wrong.
It's the first today. It's April Fool's Day.
Oh, we should have done something for Alistair.
We should have done something for Alistair.
I love how we're both thinking the same thing.
It's April Fool's Day. Let's pick on Alistair Day.
What could we do, man?
We'll come up with something. Damn, I forgot about that.
I know.
That's such a shame.
We'll come up with something.
Well, we told everyone that he was having a hair transplant. That's probably bad enough.
Do you think... actually, no, I better hold my tongue, otherwise I might...
No, okay. What was the question? Deal sourcing. Yeah, so jump on there. Also, I mean, we talk about it on the podcast, so we've got Dad's shows where we talk about the steps of deal sourcing, so check out that. Check out Samuel's channel. Samuel was massively involved in when deal sourcing kind of wasn't even really a thing, and he set up Buy Low Rent High, which was a deal sourcing company, so he has a lot of teaching on it as well. But most importantly, join us at the Crash Course. It's live. I'll be there, albeit probably backstage, watching football. Ricky will be there, probably backstage.
Watching football.
Apart from the about 2 minutes that he has where he gets to go on and clap and stuff.
Oh, wow.
And Alistair and Samuel will be there, delivering high quality content as well.
Oh, I love how them two get there. They'll be there, and I'll be there for the 2 minutes.
So check out that. But deal sourcing is a brilliant business. Again, though, it's not easy. It's hard. You got to put work in. You got to put the effort in. You can't just expect the money to come in. However, if you are going to work at it, you can make thousands and thousands of pounds. I mean, I know Alistair makes about 30 grand a month. How much are you making on from deal sourcing?
About 6 grand.
About 6 grand profit, is that?
No, turnover.
6 grand a month. So, I mean, and most of it is profit though, isn't it?
Because the overheads aren't a lot.
Yeah.
The overheads are just CRM systems.
And you don't even really push it. It's like a very part-time thing for you.
Deal sourcing is not my main thing, but you think that's two deals a month.
Yeah.
2 deals a month, roughly, on average. But I think you're right. There's no real straightforward answer to getting started. I think the best way to get started is just to immerse yourself in an environment where you can learn.
Agreed. So, guys, hope you enjoyed that. Thanks ever so much for tuning in. Thank you for putting up with us and having Ricky on the show this week. And
hold on, are you not going to thank me for putting up with you?
Thank you for putting up with me. You're used to it though. You're normally behind the camera. You get more stick than Alistair.
Yeah, no, but I like now I'm in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I just like to have my part. Where I just
Yeah, he's crucially important. We couldn't do it without him. He literally presses the on button on the camera. I mean, I would just be there. I wouldn't know what to do. He's there, and he also makes sarcastic comments and puts together a really crap quiz. So thank you to Ricky. We will see you next week, same time, same channel, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Next week, Wednesday, 7 p.m. See you there. Take care.
See ya.